Lesson 6. Questions are the answers. Anthony Robbins. Notes from a friend. Lesson 6. Questions are the answer. For the best of the control of the focus, truth of the power of the questions, you know that asking the right question can actually save your life. It saved Stan Saloskovich life. The Nazis stormed into his home one night and hurt him and his family to the death camp in Krakow. His family was murdered before his eyes. Weak and grieving, the sharp worked for the sunrise with the sundown, along with the other prisoners over the concentration camp, could head anyone over the surface of the poor. Somehow, he continued. One day, he looked over the nightmare around him and decided that he stayed there even one more day, he would die. He decided that he'd escape, but the most important, he believed that even though that no one before him had escaped, somehow there was a way. His focus changed from how to survive to asking instead, how can we escape this horrible place? You receive the same answer over and over again. Don't be fooled. There's no escape. Asking such questions will only torture your soul. But he couldn't accept the answer. He kept asking himself, how can I do? But there must be a way. But how can I get out of here? But one day his answer came. Lack smelled rotten flesh just a few feet from his work. From where he worked, men and women and children had been gassed and hosed naked. Corpses had been piled into the back of the truck. Instead of focusing on the question, how did God allow something to evil like this to happen, he asked himself, how can I use this to escape? As the sun set and one of the work party left with the barracks, and he pulled off the clothes and drove the naked into the bodies while no one was looking. Pretending to be dead, he waited in the sickening smell of death all around him, waited all of the corpses processing upon him. Finally, he heard the truck and after a short ride, the mountain bodies he dumped into an open grave. He was dumped into an open grave and waited until he was certain no one was nearby, then ran naked the 25 miles to freedom. What made the difference between false with his house eventual lack of that may have been the millions died in the concentration camp? Clearly there are several factors. The one difference is he asked a different question. He asked it over and over to gain expectation certain he would receive an answer. But that's a good question. We ask ourselves the question all day long. Our question controls our focus, how we think and how we feel. But asking the right question with a major wave of the turn in my life around and stopped asking, why is it life is so unfair? Why don't my plans ever work out? Instead, I just started asking questions that could give me useful answers. Ask and you will receive, seek and you will find, knock and it will be open. Matthew 7:7. First, I made up some questions to solve the problem. The question prepare to make me look for the final solution whenever the problem comes. 1. The problem solver the questions. What is great about the problem? 2. What is not perfect yet? 3. What am I willing to do to make it the way I want it? And 4. What am I willing no longer in order to make it the way I want it? 5. How can I enjoy the process while I do what is necessary to make it the way I want it? How can I enjoy the process while I do the way necessary for the way I want it? If you have the trouble answering these questions, use the word could. Example of what could I be most happy about in my life right now? I also ask myself a specific set of questions in the morning, get up with another set of questions over the night before I go to sleep that set me up to feel great all day and end of my days on a high note. The morning powerful questions. What am I happy about in my life right now? What about that makes me happy? What does that make me feel? What am I excited about in my life right now? What about makes me so excited? How does that make me feel? 3. What am I proud in life right now? What about that makes me proud and how does it make me feel? 4. What am I grateful in my life right now? What am I that makes me grateful and how does that make me feel? 5. What am I enjoying most in my life right now? And what about that do I enjoy? How does that make me feel? What am I committed in life right now to my life right now? What about these what these makes me committed to? How does that make me feel? 7. Who do I love? Who loves me? What about that makes me love me? How does that make me feel? Evening power questions. What have I given today? In which way have I been a giver today? What do I learn today? How has today added to the quality of my life? And how can I use it today as an investment in the future? These questions have the lifesaver for me, but they will help to change your focus and help you change your life with the gift of the great questions. Once you know how to ask empowering questions, you can help with not only yourself, but with the others as well. As once you're in New York City, a friend with a business associate with the mind of a lunch, a prominent lawyer. I admired him and his success in his business and practices he built since he was a young man. But on the day that he suffered, that he thought he was a devastating blow. His partner had left him the firm, leaving him with a tremendous overhead with not many ideas about how to turn it around. Remembering that his focus was determined with the meaning of any situation. Focus on what will make you feel better, what will make you feel worse, and whatever you look for, you will find. When the problem was asking him the wrong question. How could my partner abandon me this way? Does he care? Does he not? Doesn't he realize that it's destroying my life? Doesn't. And shows a picture of a shark and a lifesaver with a hook and a fisherman. He realized that these questions have been lifesavers for me. He realized that I can do this without him. How will I explain to my client that I can stay in the business any longer? All these questions already assume that his life has been destroyed. There are many ways in such which I could help with my friend. I decided I would just ask him a few questions. Started out by asking him in the morning power question, then problem solve the questions. And first asked him, what are you happy about? And then you know that this sounds stupid, ridiculous, and Pollyanna. But when are you really happy about? Their first response was nothing. And so I said, what could you be happy about right now if you wanted to be? A few moments later, then said, really be happy about my wife, but if she's doing really well right now on a relationship, really close. I asked him, how does that make you feel when you think of the close they are with her? He said, it's one of the most incredible gifts in life. And I said, she's a special lady, isn't she? He started focusing on his feelings about her, and immediately began to feel better. You might say that I was just distracting him, but I was really helping him to get a better emotional state, with a better shape, where he can come up with better ways of dealing with things. So I asked him what else was happy about. He started talking about how he should be happy that he just helped the writer close his first book deal, and then how delighted the writer was told, or was he told that he should feel proud, but he didn't. And if you feel proud, I asked, how would that feel? As though about the greater thing that would feel his emotional state begin to change. Then I asked, what else are we proud of? Then, for example, I'm really proud of my kids, for they really care about the people that take care of themselves. I'm proud of who they becoming as men and a woman, and they are my children. They are part of my legacy. How does it make me feel to know that you have the impact? And when I asked over this man who would earlier believe that his life was over, it came alive. Then I asked him what he was grateful for, and he said that he was really grateful that he made it through the tough times as he was a young and struggling lawyer. He built with a career on the bottom up, then he lived an American dream. Then asked, what are you really excited about? And I said, actually, I'm excited that I have an opportunity right now to make a change. And that was the first time he thought about it, that he had done because he had changed his state so radically. I asked him, what do you love? Who loves you? He started talking about his family and how incredibly close they were. Then I asked him a really tough question, well, what's great about with your partner leaving you? And he said, what could be great about this if I hate coming home into the city every day? I love being at home in Connecticut. What is also great about this if I get to live everything in a new way? That made him a whole string of possibilities. He decided to set up a new office in Connecticut just 5 minutes from his home, bring his son into the business, and have the answering service pick up calls in the Manhattan. He got so excited he decided to look for a new office immediately. In a matter of minutes, of the power over the questions have the work, their magic, they had his resources always been available to do. And of course, they had the question he'd been asking had made him feel helpless, causing him to see that himself, the old man who'd lost everything he'd built. In reality, life he had been given a tremendous gift, but he hadn't been able to see with the truth until he started asking the quality of the question. Another life-changing tool is your physiology. What's that? Let me tell you about it. Lesson 7. Welcome to the great state of you.